The market demand function for a good is given by Q, D equals 100 minus 2P, and the market supply function is Q underscore S equals 3, P minus 50, where P is the price and Q is the quantity. A. Determine the equilibrium price, P to the power of, and equilibrium quantity, Q to the power of. Explanation: market equilibrium occurs when the quantity demanded by consumers equals the quantity supplied by producers. At this point, there is no pressure for the price to change. Solution: to find the equilibrium, we set Q underscore D equals Q, S 100 minus 2, P equals 3, P minus 50. Now we solve for P. 100 plus 50 equals 3P plus 2P. 150 equals 5P. P equals frac 155. P to the power of equals 30. Now substitute P to the power of equals 30 into either the demand or supply equation to find Q to the power of /2. Using the demand equation, Q to the power of equals 100 minus 230, Q to the power of equals 100 minus 60, Q to the power of equals 40. Using the supply equation to verify, Q to the power of equals 330 minus 50, Q to the power of equals 90 minus 50, Q to the power of equals 40. Equilibrium price, P to the power of equals $30. Equilibrium quantity, Q to the power of equals 40 units. B. Calculate the consumer surplus at equilibrium. Explanation: consumer surplus, CS, is the difference between the total amount that consumers are willing to pay for a good and the total amount they actually pay. Geometrically, it's the area of the triangle above the equilibrium price and below the demand curve. To calculate CS, we need to find the choke price, the price at which quantity demanded is 0. We then use the formula for the area of a triangle, 0.5 times text base times text height. Solution: first, find the choke price from the demand function Q underscore D equals 100 minus 2P by setting Q underscore D equals 0, 0 equals 100 minus 2P, 2P equals 100, P underscore choke equals 50. Now, calculate the consumer surplus. The base of the triangle is the equilibrium quantity, Q to the power of equals 4O. The height of the triangle is the difference between the choke price and the equilibrium price. P underscore choke minus P to the power of equals 50 minus 30 equals 2O. CS equals 0.5 times Q to the power of times P underscore choke minus P to the power of CS equals 0.5 times 40 times 50 minus 30. CS equals 0.5 times 40 times 20. CS equals 400. Consumer surplus equals $400. C. Calculate the producer surplus at equilibrium. Explanation: producer surplus, PS, is the difference between the total amount that producers receive for a good and the total cost they incur to produce it. Geometrically, is the area of the triangle below the equilibrium price and above the supply curve. To calculate PS, we need to find the minimum supply price, the price at which quantity supplied is 0. We then use the formula for the area of a triangle, 0.5 times text base times text height. Solution: first, find the minimum supply price from the supply function Q, S equals 3P minus 50, by setting Q underscore S equals 0, S/0 equals 3P minus 50, 3P equals 5O, P underscore mine underscore supply equals frac 53, approx 16.67. Now, calculate the producer surplus. The base of the triangle is the equilibrium quantity, Q to the power of equals 4O. The height of the triangle is the difference between the equilibrium price and the minimum supply price, P to the power of asterisk minus P underscore min underscore supply equals 30 minus frac 53 equals frac 90 minus 53 equals frac 43. PS equals 0.5 times Q to the power of times P to the power of minus P underscore mine underscore supply. PS equals 0.5 times 40 times 30 minus frac 53. PS equals 0.5 times 40 times frac 43. PS equals 20 times frac 43. PS equals frac 40 times frac C approx 266.67. Producer surplus equals $266.67. Approximately. D. Suppose the government imposes a per unit tax of T equals $5 on producers. What will be the new equilibrium price and quantity? Explanation. A per unit tax on producers shifts the supply curve upwards by the amount of the tax. This means that for producers to supply the same quantity, they now need to receive a price that is $5 higher than before to cover the tax. The new supply curve can be written as P underscore received equals P underscore paid underscore BY underscore consumer minus T. So P equals P underscore CT, where P underscore C is the price consumers pay and P is the price producers receive after the tax. From QS equals 3, P minus 50, we can express P equals frac QS plus 503. With the tax, the new supply curve, from the producer's perspective of price they need to receive, is QS equals 3. P underscore C minus 5 minus 50. QS equals 3. P underscore C minus 15 minus 50. QS equals 3. P underscore C minus 65. Now we set the new supply equal to the demand. QD equals QS dash 100 minus 2. P underscore C equals 3. P underscore C minus 65. Solution. 100 plus 65 equals 3. P underscore C plus 2 P underscore C. 165 equals 5 P underscore C. P underscore C equals frac 1, 6, 5. 5. P underscore C to the power of equals 33. This is the new price paid by consumers. Now, find the new equilibrium quantity by substituting underscore CAD to the power of equals 33 into the demand function. Q underscore new to the power of equals 100 minus 233. Q underscore new to the power of equals 100 minus 66. Q underscore new to the power of equals 34. The price received by producers, P underscore P to the power of equals, after paying the tax will be P underscore P to the power of equals P underscore C to the power of minus T. P underscore P to the power of equals 33 minus 5. P underscore P to the power of equals 28. New equilibrium price paid by consumers equals $33. New equilibrium quantity equals 34 units. Price received by producers equals $28. E. How much of the tax burden is borne by consumers and how much by producers? Explanation. The tax burden or tax incidence shows how the cost of a tax is distributed between consumers and producers. Consumer tax burden. This is the increase in the price consumers pay compared to the original equilibrium price. Producer tax burden. This is the decrease in the price producers receive compared to the original equilibrium price. Solution. Original equilibrium price P to the power of equals $30. New price paid by consumers P underscore K to the power of and his head go through the door equals $33. New price received by producers P underscore P to the power of and his head goes $28. Total tax per unit T equals $5. Consumer tax burden per unit P underscore C to the power of minus P to the power of equals 33 minus 30 equals $3. Producer tax burden per unit P to the power of minus P underscore P to the power of equals 30 minus 28 equals $2. Total tax revenue to government T times Q underscore new to the power of equals 5 times 34 equals $170. Check. Consumer burden plus producer burden times Q underscore new to the power of equals 3 plus 2 times 34 equals 5 times 34 equals $170. This matches the total tax revenue. Consumers bear $3 of the tax burden per unit. Producers bear $2 of the tax burden per unit.